Rafael Sanchez joins us now. And Rafael, you have insight into what has been done and what else needs to be accomplished going forward.
Well, Mark, good evening. Of course, training remains a top priority for the department. In fact, learning that in just 2 weeks from now, a national team will be in the city of Indianapolis training the trainers who will help Metro Police officers make better decisions on the job. That's the newest development. Now, Metro Police did not wait for this 42-page report to be released today. They had already put some reforms in place dating several months ago. In fact, after the May incidents here in the Circle City. Since those protests, as you know, Metro Police has outfitted all of its beat officers with a body-worn camera after many, many years of delays. In July, no-knock warrants were banned. Those warrants, as you may recall, would allow officers under a court order to enter a home without knocking. Those were banned. The department has also updated its use of force policy and has created a civilian-led use of force board to review things like police-involved shootings. That use of force board will be made up of 5 citizens and 4 police officers. And also keep this in mind, a newly created General Orders Board will continue to now oversee department policies. In fact, former Police Chief Brian Roach is coming back to serve on that General Orders Board as part of these new efforts to reform the department.
You know, Rafael, since the riots last year, this use of force board has been in headlines as they were going back and forth as to what it should look like. Is this use of force board up and running yet?
Well, making calls late this afternoon, just found out that, of course, the training for the use of force board begins tomorrow. Now, we don't have a timeline, Mark, as to when it will be officially up and running, but that use of force board will have to go through many different types of training programs. And because of COVID-19, there'll be some limitations as to the interactions they can actually have with police officers. So it may take some time, but my understanding is that the hope is to get this board up and running as soon as possible. It is critical to the reforms of the department.
Understandable. You know, in our reporting, we've said that the use of force updated policies also empower officers to step in if they witness excessive force and then report it to their supervisor. Is that still the case?
Yeah, Mark, I'm glad you asked me that because, you know, that was always the expectation. You see something, you say something, but it was never really in writing per se. So now an officer can be disciplined if they don't follow that written policy. If an officer sees another officer engaged in excessive force, that officer is required to report it to the supervisor. It was always sort of the known policy, but now if it happens, it must be reported. If it doesn't get reported, then of course that officer or other officers can be reprimanded or disciplined in some capacity for not following the written policy.
Our Rafael Sanchez bringing us the latest on this use of force board. Thank you for that. That full report, including those recommendations that you heard about, can be found right now at WRTV.com and on the free WRTV app. We'll keep you updated there as we learn more